Hello and welcome back to Desktop Publishing with QuarkXPress. My name is Martin Turner and today we're talking about QuarkXPress's Books feature, whereby you can compile different layouts or entirely different projects into a single book which will share a table of contents, share an index, share style sheets, and will be exportable as a single PDF file or indeed printable as a single print file. Well, let's go to the screen. And we're going to find the Books palette in Window Books. Up it comes. And right now it's empty. There's nothing in there. So it's over here. What I've got to do now is simply create new. And I'm going to call it Gulliver's Travels because we're going back to Gulliver's Travels, which if you were here for that episode, we downloaded from Project Gutenberg. We haven't really laid it out yet. It's still pretty much in the state we found it. Got a little bit of tagging there. And we're going to work on this right now. So at the moment, although my document is open, nothing has entered into the book, and it won't do until I tell it to. But let me look first at the layouts I've created. So previously, we created one layout for every part. And that may be a good way of working, but for a hideously complicated book, or if you're a person who likes structure, or if different people are working on different chapters separately, and you're going to compile them later, then you might want to have it in separate parts. However, as you can see, each part begins with its own first page. We're not going to want that, and it certainly won't produce a consistent contents page. So I'm now going to do Add Chapters, and I'm going to go to my one project. I could do it from several different projects. All the same principles apply. And select all. I'm just going to add all of those. And you'll see a couple of things. First off, they appear here. The first one appears as M. That makes it the master chapter for when we synchronize style sheets. You can change that to a different chapter by just double-clicking here in the M. But as we're all in one layout, it won't make any difference. In a document made out of several different projects, it will make a huge difference, and we'll come to that in a minute. But you see that the pages are now synchronized. However, look at this. 1 to 61, 63 to 120. Why is that? Well, let's go to part 1. If I could just click on here as well, that would take me there, and that opens different documents if they're closed. But if I go to part 1, I will see that it ends on a right-hand page. But part 2 begins on a right-hand page. So if you want to force right-hand pagination for chapters, using different books could be quite a good way of doing it, rather using one book in different documents. If I were to go back to here and add in a couple of blank pages like this, watch over here as I do it, and there, and you'll see that's now jumped to 65 because we don't actually want to have 64, which will be a blank page. Okay, what happens next? Well, let's go and look at Synchronize. It's very important. So I'm going to select all of the chapters. Now, any operation which affects all the chapters, you've got to select them. So when you PDF output or print, you've got to have selected all the chapters. Otherwise, it won't work and you'll be wondering what's going on. So I'm going to go to Synchronize now. And I can synchronize style sheets. I could simply include all. I can synchronize conditional styles, colors, H&Js, lists, dashes, and so on. In fact, anything the job jacket can synchronize, I can synchronize. If I do cinch all, it will then, when I do OK, it will then synchronize everything. Now, in fact, because we are on a single document, it won't make any difference. Be prepared for a bit of a wait if you're synchronizing a very long document, which has got a lot of different style sheets in. You could be there 20 or 30 minutes because it's got to go through every single page, redo the layout, move things around, and then work from there. So don't get cross and think it's crashed. Okay, well, what else we got? The first thing which I mentioned was table of contents. Let's go down to lists, fact, I have that open. I'm going to open that again. And as you can see, I'm in part 1, and I've got the list only of the chapters in part 1, which is layout 1. But if I show list for not current layout, but Gulliver's Travels, the book, then I can update that and it creates a list for everything. And if I now go back to the top of here and delete my old contents page and build that, that will build. And if I was doing a PDF output, that would also hyperlink correctly. But of course it does also correctly match the pages up. So what else synchronizes? Well, everything synchronizes. So let's go to index. Now we talked about index a few weeks ago. I'm not going to go through all of it again. But if you now go to build index, you'll see there is a thing for entire book. And providing you've been reasonably consistent in indexing, it will now create an index which you would normally put at the end of the final part, but you could put it anywhere, which is the index for the entire book. The same goes for cross-references, and in fact anything which relates to a different part of the document can be made to function in that way. Well, what have we not covered? I said before that when you do PDF export, you've got to select everything. So if you do that, it will not work. You've got to select everything. You do PDF export as normal. All the same options will be the same. It will take quite a while to export. And after it's exported everything, it will compile everything together. The same is true for printing. It will have all of the usual options for print. Not that printer because it's not a good one for different things, but just go to my print styles. It will print in exactly the same way as it usually does. Well, that basically wraps it up for books. I need to tell you about one more thing, and that is that if you look in the file, or rather directory, where you put your book, you'll see it's also created gulliverstravels.xml. Do not delete that. That is the job jacket. So when you create a book, it creates a job jacket for your book. Go to Job Jackets Manager, have a look at this. So if you don't understand this, go back to the episode about job jackets. So I open up the Job Jackets Manager and up comes Gulliver's Travels over here. So Gulliver's Travels, and you'll see that it's got all the necessary resources which you'll find, for example, my conditional styles are in there, and so on and so on and so on. So that is actually how it's doing the synchronization. So if you're worried about how things are going, you can always look at the job jacket. And of course, you can also apply job jacket rules to the entire book. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for books. It's a very easy feature to use. It's surprisingly powerful. It works the way you'd expect and want it to work. And if you like to work in books, it's very effective. The only thing which might be more difficult is for a digital layout. You'll probably, if you want to create a digital layout of the entire book, have to compile them all by dragging pages into one layout, because right now, digital layout doesn't do books. Well, that's it for books. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Martin Turner, author of Desktop Publishing with QuarkXPress 2017. Please do have a look at the book. It's on Amazon and in bookshops. I will see you, I hope, next time. And in the meantime, happy quarking.